The chair calls Jeff Morgan with Luke Macias on deck.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey Morgan. I am from Senate District 2, and the legislative priority that I would like to see focused on is the repeal of unilateral no-fault divorce. Last time we met, we got the wording changed from no-fault divorce to unilateral. Why is that important? Because unilateral divorce is divorce on demand. It's forced divorce. It's actually, if you go back historically, that which Vladimir Lenin advocated and pushed for in the Soviet Union. His underlying philosophy was destroy the family, destroy society. That is our law in Texas. Now, a lot of these issues that have been talked about, I agree 100% with them, but I still think that the idea of unilateral no-fault divorce is the tree we need to be striking at. If you are pro-life, you should be for the repeal of unilateral no-fault divorce. Reason being is that once you lose that support system, daughters are more likely to get pregnant, engage in sexual activity, have abortions. Civil asset forfeiture. Man, you talked about child support. If my wife wants to leave me, why should I be punished with child support? Or if I'm a woman and the husband wants to leave me and I'm a bigger wage earner, why should I be punished with that if I want to keep the marriage together? It is a big religious liberty issue as well. In this case right here, we filed with the U.S. Supreme Court as Pankow v. Pankow. You can look at it, the U.S. Supreme Court, the search docket, and it talks about the issue not only of the 14th Amendment violation, but of religious viewpoint discrimination. It is viewpoint discrimination. When somebody says, my marriage is insupportable, and the other person says, I don't believe it, and the judge says, well, I have to do it because she says so or he says so, that is a viewpoint discrimination against another person. I would also say this for the people that, my friends, okay, thank you.
Members, any questions?
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. I fully agree that we need to protect the family institution, and I had, until very recently, thought that the main impetus behind no-fault divorce was a bad idea. Just say, oh, I want out, and that's it. I was speaking with somebody very recently who mentioned the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and unfortunately there was no media outlet I could proceed to and not hear about that. So I think we're all familiar with it, but the question that was posed to me is, okay, if you make the barrier to divorce more difficult, what incentives are there to fabricate things in order to get out, to stage things, especially in an era of Me Too?
So let me go back. The first thing was Ronald Reagan was the governor who signed this, and he said it was the biggest mistake of his political career. Mike Huckabee said it's the worst that has happened to America. Now, what you've said as far as the fabrication, go to any family court today. Perjury is rampant. It has not decreased lying. When somebody says, my marriage is insupportable, they don't have to give any proof. They can make an allegation. And often, no-fault divorce, the way that it's done in Texas, if there is a person who's beating somebody, that person should be facing some type of criminal liability, perhaps, rather than saying, oh, my marriage is insupportable, and he or she gets off scot-free. So the idea of perjury, it's rampant right now. And that's why when I know Brooks McKenzie, when he talked about some of the things with judicial immunity and everything, that's one of the big problems, is that, I've been to over 100 cases. I've watched this stuff take place. Perjury is rampant. It's never punished. It's often rewarded. It's incentivized. And when it comes down, my perspective is with my friends who are advocating for 50-50, if you have unilateral no-fault divorce, if you have no-fault divorce, the presumption should be 50-50 because you just said there's no fault. So why are you trying to find fault with a parent right now?
Is that to say, and I don't want to put words in your
Sure.
mouth, is that to say that the problem of perjury and fabrication of stories is already an issue in the quest for a bigger share of the assets and the children in the divorce? So it would just kind of be moving the air bubble around.
Well, I believe that, but I also would say this, it is a due process issue. Does marriage have any legal protection in the state of Texas? Is it a contract? Is it a covenant? Is it something you've done before God? Is it a religious liberty issue? Absolutely to all of these things. Marriage is not a prison. If somebody wants to leave, he or she can always leave. But they should not be rewarded for leaving that situation when there is no fault. If you allege no fault divorce, if it's mutual, you protect due process for both parties. Unilateral means one person says, I do it, and it is a lawsuit, and you as the respondent can never win.
We have another question.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I hope I answered it.
Sir, thank you for your time, but I want to give you an opportunity to clarify something you said, which was, if you didn't want the divorce, why should you be punished with child support? I don't think any of us think that child support is punishment for the parent. We're looking to protect that child if the marriage dissolves.
The best protection for the child is to be raised not in a 50-50 situation, but in a 100-100 situation. And as many people have said, we can't strengthen marriages. Even Democrats know this. Leah Ward Sears, Democratic Supreme Court Justice, said at least 40% of marriages could be resolvable. Other people have said even higher. Family court judges, we do not allow this to take place. And if you're going to, first off, take my legal rights from me, I'm a married person, now you're going to make me single, and now you're going to take money from me. I'm willing to, you can always do a private agreement if you want to or something like that. But I know people that have had to sell their house to pay the spouse's attorney bills. And they end up in jail because they can't pay child support. I think that we have a problem. And once again, you look at the other problems that we've talked about. A lot of these problems come right down to unilateral, no-fault divorce. It is a big, big issue.
Thanks, sir. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you. And if anybody, I didn't give you the Rockwall Reagan thing. If anybody would like it, I've got additional ones here. And again, Panko v. Panko is a Supreme Court case. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.